Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. And this one is massive. It's talking about how Chelsea just sacked Graham Potter. Well, not technically just, because it's the morning and they sacked him at about 8 p.m.-ish UK time last night. And of course, I was driving on my way to an Airbnb for vacation. So this is not my usual setup. And so I could not react to the news at time. It was like the worst possible timing for me. But we're going to go into like the sacking, what happened there, and also I think an important point, like where do Chelsea go from here? Like we're going to be on our third manager in one season, which is like insane. So, and yeah, I'm a little bit sniffly as well, but. So, unless you somehow have not seen the news, Chelsea have just sacked Graham Potter after their 2-0 defeat to Aston Villa. And honestly, like, I'm a little bit surprised just because I felt that we had such a poor run of results. Like, I really do feel that the new owners tried to give Graham Potter, like, as much time as possible to turn things around, but at the end of the day it just wasn't meant to be. And so I think that it was big for them to actually sack him, because I wasn't sure, you know, what the cutoff point would be, or like how patient they would be willing to be, given that they paid 20 odd million to Brighton to get him out of his contract mid-season, and then they also put him on a 5-year deal, and they really thought like, okay, this is going to be our guy. So that's really them kind of like raising their hands and saying, okay, we made a mistake, maybe this isn't the right fit that we thought it would be, and kind of cut it right now and move forward. And there's not so much to salvage for the rest of the season, unless you can make a run in the Champions League against Real Madrid in either City or Bayern Munich, which would be the most Chelsea thing ever, of course. But realistically, top 4 is out of the picture. Maybe even Europe as a whole is out of the picture. So I'm not sure if maybe they were trying to salvage that, but things were just going south for Graham Potter. So just taking a look at some stats here, he was sacked just 7 months into his tenure. He has the joint lowest points per game return of any manager to take charge of Chelsea for 20 plus games. So he's sitting at 1.27, tied with Glenn Hoddle, then Ian Porterfield at 1.28, then Rugilt at 1.65, and then Frank Lampard at 1.67. And the interesting thing is actually when Graham Potter came in as Chelsea manager, he won 5 out of his 6 games in all competitions. But then things just started going downhill, slumped on both sides of the World Cup, and now he's won only 7 out of 22 games in the top flight, which is just insane. I think we've won like 4 games all year, like 1 game a month, basically. And of course, that's just not good enough. That form isn't good enough, but it makes me wonder, like, okay, what happened between when he first took over and a couple of weeks later? Like, it started off well and then it just kind of all went downhill. There's been like some news articles that came out saying like, oh, people had to look up who Graham Potter even was. I don't know how much I realistically believe that. Like, if it was any Premier League player, then they would definitely know who he was. Maybe I could believe it for like some international player. And then there were also reports of just like him not really there were also reports of just not necessarily like having that connect with the players, and like having there be so many things to focus on in the post-match. And I don't know like how much you can really believe of this stuff. But it seems that at the end of the day, it just wasn't the right fit for Chelsea. So where do we go from here? It's an interesting one because Todd Bowley and co, they came out and said, oh, we don't want to have a hire and fire policy like the previous regime, and we really want to, hire coach and believe in him like we've done with the LA Dodgers, and they've had the same manager in place since 2015, and they really thought that Graham Potter was going to be their guy, and that's why they gave him the long-term contract. So what do they really do? Because now they've sacked 2 coaches in 1 season, which is like a new high, I think, at least in recent memory. And also for different reasons, because Thomas Tuchel, it seems that they sacked more for cultural fit, and that one was more of a surprise to me because, yes, like, I love Thomas Tuchel. I don't want to completely remember everything with rose-colored glasses. Like, he was brilliant, but towards the end, like, Chelsea had a rough couple of games. So we lost to Zagreb, and we lost to Leeds, and we lost 4-0 to Arsenal in preseason. And we were struggling to score goals, and we were conceding more than we had been in the previous half of Thomas Tuchel's reign. And then now we've sacked Graham Potter for performance reasons. So you kind of have 2 main reasons why 2 different coaches have been sacked. So it might be a bit difficult to convince somebody to come on board and kind of jump into that. But what I will say is, at the end of the day, it's Chelsea. It's still a massive, sorry, my dog is sniffing around and I'm making sure he doesn't eat anything. It's still a massive opportunity. You have this amazing young squad that's full of superstars or potential superstars that have boatloads of talent. It's the ability to, I really do think that Chelsea are looking for their long-term guy, and that it just wasn't the right time for Graham Potter. I think that maybe it was just a little bit too much of a tall order for him, and different expectations and a different climate and culture and everything. But with the right person, I really do want to see Chelsea have a Jurgen Klopp or Pep Guardiola that they're at the club for years and years and years, instead of just changing manager every 1-2 years. So potential names: Julian Nagelsmann was just sacked by Bayern Munich last week. Thomas Tuchel has taken over from him. So he's a hot young coach, not hot in terms of commodity. Don't be stupid, guys. On the market. So he's a potential option to replace Graham Potter. Then you have Mauricio Pochettino, who was obviously ex-Spurs manager, ex-PSG manager. He has a lot of experience. And then you also have Brendan Rodgers, who was sacked by Leicester. Reports from Fabrizio Romano have said that Julian Nagelsmann is the board's #1 option. And so I think that they are exploring down that avenue. Apparently, we haven't open talks with Mauricio Pochettino yet. And yeah, so I think if I had to place a bet, I do think Julian Nagelsmann might be the next one, but it's going to be about convincing him that the fit is right, that he's going to get time to build the project, and kind of saying, okay, this is where it went wrong. We've learned from our mistakes. Here's where you can go from here. And I do think that in order for the team to succeed, they are going to need to trim down the squad massively. I believe it's at 32 players now. So in the summer, I do think that we're going to see a pretty big clearing out. So maybe Graham Potter was sacked now to kind of get ahead of that a bit and give the new coach 10 to 12-ish games, or maybe a bit more if you go further in the Champions League, to get to know the team and kind of start making decisions for the summer and preseason, because it is a very, very bloated squad. It does need to be trimmed down. So yeah, pretty crazy stuff. Never a dull day for a Chelsea fan. And yeah, so we play Liverpool tomorrow. Let's see what happens. And then, of course, massive game versus Real Madrid next Tuesday or Wednesday, the 12th. So yeah, what do you guys think about Graham Potter getting sacked? How are you guys feeling about it? Let me know in the comments. And yeah, sorry that I'm a little sick, but hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Have a great rest of your day, evening, whatever time you're watching this. And until next time, I'm out. Bye.